Hello everybody and welcome to Search and Other Tips and Tricks. I'm really excited to begin this section because one, it's our last section and we're almost at 101 tips like I promised. In this section we're going to talk about some tips around search and some of the things that you can do with that, but we're also going to include a compilation of other tips that are kind of unique out there that maybe didn't really fit in a category. So what do we need to know about search? Well, first and foremost, we need to understand that the search reality is most users don't really know how to perform search as well. If you ever study search logs or you ever look at the way people do things, most people don't really understand what they're doing. They're either having a hard time spelling, not being able to use the right words, looking in the wrong place. There's so many different scenarios out there. So one of the realities that we have to start with when we're building search from a user perspective is people just don't know how to do that. So I want to give you a little basis here where you can start from, and then of course with our tips we'll give you some tips on some different things that you can do from time to time. So, well, the first thing you got to realize is that search is about one thing. It's about findability. You might remember we talked a little bit earlier in information management about putability. This is really about findability, otherwise how somebody finds something. And so the good news is when you talk about findability, there are some models that we can actually look at that people follow. So let's look at the first one, which is actually the easiest one to handle in any type of search engine, which is what we like to call a known item. Otherwise, somebody's looking for something and they know they're looking for one answer and they know what that answer is. So they probably type in the title, they type in some very specific search term because they know exactly where they want to get to. Well, these are the people that we tend to not need to worry about as much. And coincidentally, these are the people that we tend to use in our testing to say, hey, go find such and such document, and somebody types it in, and it's like, hey, I found that. Oh, our search engine must be great. But these are the people that are easy because they know what they're looking for, and even some of the worst search engine on earth can pick up something if somebody knows the title. It should actually resolve to that title. The second group is our most challenging group that we have, and that these are kind of what we call exploratory findability. And what do we mean by that? Well, otherwise sometimes people just want to investigate. They don't really know exactly what the answer they're looking for. They kind of know. They understand the topic. Maybe they understand some direction in that. But overall, they're exploring. They're trying to find it. And these people are really frustrating because overall, you don't really have a really solid way through just search terms to get them to what they want. And so if I am looking for specific type of tax form or something like that, and I just type in tax form or tax form credit or something like that, if you were on the IRS site, you would just have this huge amount of answers that would come back. Even though they kind of know what they want, they're not really sure. So these are the people that we have the most challenge, which a lot of our search tips can help out with. So the other one that we don't have to worry about too much is really people that don't really know nor care what they want to find. They don't really know what they need. So these are the people you think of the typical using of a Bing or a Google or whatever it is, and you think of people actually going through and just doing things. So, if you're searching on a hobby or maybe an interest or maybe you're looking at different cars or you're doing different things like that, overall you're not really sure what you're going to find. You're not necessarily caring what you're going to find. You just want to kind of look and find out what's out there. Well, again, search engines can help these folks a lot just because I'm putting in broad terms and I really don't have an expectation of being able to truly narrow down to something specific. Instead, I'm just kind of looking, I'm searching on a topic and seeing what I find. So the fourth one that we say is, well, again, we sometimes have a problem getting people to a piece of information, but another one that we always got to look at is how easy is it to find again. So if for some reason you have an inconsistent system or it's hard to use and people can't do this whole refining process, it can create a lot of difficulties. A great example is what Google does these days with their auto suggestions, that it actually remembers previous searches you did. And a lot of times if you've ever searched on like a SharePoint error message or something like that, you kind of probably remember some of what you actually typed in when you searched it, and you start typing that and Google resolves in that. So this is another area that we really got to do. And so overall, in understanding these findability models, we can kind of look at some of our strategies in search and how we can really help users be successful.